MSP GeekCon 2026. What a really great, unique event. I get to go to a lot of events, and they're run by a vendor. There's a vendor hall there. This is completely run by MSPs. Mendy and the team, Kate, the team that's there are volunteers, and it's the attendees were all MSPs, not just owners, but technicians as well. It's just a great twist on what an event can be. One of the greatest things is that they had a game night. So many of the attendees are introverts, so they didn't want to go to the bar. They didn't want to do any of that, and so they had these two big rooms set up. One room on one side of the hall was a D&D, Dungeons and Dragons type game that many played. It was all set up. There was people in charge of it. They had to create this car, and there was these tables set up as teams, and you chose a character. It was absolutely wonderful. And then across the hall, in another room, were actually the board games like Settlers of Time, a bunch of games I'd never heard of. And some tables just played one game for the whole evening. Some rotated through many of them, and it was absolutely wonderful. I got to participate in some of them. Everybody's very welcoming, kind. But just a great twist. I think every event should adopt this. For those extroverts that want to go to the party and go to the bar, do that, but have this for those who don't. It's just a wonderful, and the content was great. It was, again, all geared by MSPs, for MSPs, managed service providers, of course. What a just a great event there in Orlando. I'm so glad that I was invited, and I hope to get invited more. So I had 5 great conversations with podcasts. Heather Noggle was the first, from Commodore 64 to cybersecurity leadership. Great conversation with Heather. I hadn't met her before. Great, wonderful catching up and getting to understand her passions and what she does. Stephen Spiegel. My goodness, I've known Stephen for 10, 15 years with CrewHu. Finally, we're able to talk this way, in this one-on-one kind of long-form conversation, from ice cream shops to MSP growth machines. How he was in the retail, right? He was in ice cream shops. He's from New York, from right across Long Island Sound, where I was born and raised, but where he was first introduced to MSPs, and then continued to work with them now, and what his platform does and how he's had change. Great, really open conversation with Stephen. Ashley Pyle, my first time meeting Ashley. I saw her up on stage give a keynote. It was wonderful. She had 4 disciplines, and I said, I need to have her on the podcast. And she came on, and she was absolutely wonderful and very open and very direct, and a very unique style. I really, really appreciate my conversation with Ashley Pyle. John Harden was next, and John was another podcaster, and we were kind of texting before the event. I'm glad we were able to meet. He did speak twice actually at the event. A great conversation with John, building the future without losing humanity. Lastly was Monica Ozarek. So I got to know Monica more at this event. She was one of the volunteers. She's there in Toronto and has a consulting business, and everything is a system with Monica. Everything is a system. She helps MSPs with that. So great conversations there at MSP GeekCon. Really appreciate it. Thank you for watching and for listening. Hi, I'm Joey Pinz, and here's my 45-second introduction. After starting my business in the 90s, I started developing poor habits of eating in my diet because of working way too much. Before you know it, I found myself 340 pounds. The doctor told me if I don't lose the weight, I'm not going to see my daughter graduate. Took the next 7 months, lost 130 pounds. People think there's some secret. Ask me, how'd you lose that weight? Like there's some secret. There is no secret. How'd I lose the weight? Just one word: discipline. I've had other successes in life, and I attribute them all to discipline. Now, I'm not the king of discipline, but I believe that it can help all of us. Friends, colleagues convinced me to start a podcast. The podcast mission: how do we better ourselves and society? I talk to interesting people in health, fitness, sport, wellness, business, technology, science, art, and culture. And I eventually ask them how discipline plays a role in their life. Podcast vision: growth through learning from others. Tell me about this. I don't understand. It's like a Jeep that's cut in half?
Oh, it's SoFlo Customs takes a Jeep. You don't even recognize the Jeep at the end of it. I tell you what. I'll show you.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you, send me a picture and I'll make sure I'll put it up. Okay. So when you say the top is cut off?
No, it's like the back is cut. So it's not like this. It goes like this. It's a slanted back. The tire is on the back slanted. It has 38-inch wheels. It's got a 4-inch lift. It's got a 392 Hemi that was put in instead.
Wow.
For like old guys like me, they could feel young again.
And what's the attraction?
Dude, I went to look for a car for my son. I ended up getting a car for me.
In this fast-paced MSP landscape, how do you stay ahead? Introducing MSPinfluencer.com, your ultimate hub for MSP news, insights, and community connection powered by Forza Dash. More than 75,000 MSPs subscribe to our MSP Influencer Pulse weekly newsletter, staying informed and ahead of industry trends. Tune in to emerging podcasts from Joey Pinz and leading MSP voices, offering essential tips, powerful insights, and success stories. Explore our multi-authored blogs, crafted specifically for MSP leaders, delivering fresh perspectives and actionable strategies. Celebrate excellence with the industry-leading Forza Dash MSP Influencer Awards, recognizing innovation, leadership, and impact in the MSP community. Join thousands of MSP professionals who trust MSPinfluencer.com to grow their business and expand their networks. MSPinfluencer.com, where today's MSP leaders connect, collaborate, and conquer, all powered by the Forza Dash platform, helping MSP vendors work effectively with MSPs and helping MSPs grow.
He's taking too long with his permit.
I say.
Yeah.
And so what do you do with this vehicle?
I just got it 3 weeks ago.
But you didn't do anything like this? You didn't have a similar vehicle before?
No.
This is your first venture into this type.
I had a Tesla. I still have a Tesla, but I had the Tesla X. I like all the new stuff. So they came out with Plaid, and I had to get the Plaid.
Yeah.
It's like 2.2 seconds, 0 to 60.
Unbelievable. Yeah. And so with this Jeep, do you go off-roading with it?
Yes, it's made to go off-roading. I haven't been off-roading yet. I've had it for 2 weeks, but we're going off-roading.
And you've been off-roading before?
I've been off-roading before on excursions, on vacation, never like a hobby. So looking forward to it.
Just with an impulse of you buying this is creating a brand new hobby as well.
Yeah. No, I do things. I do things on impulse. I started a company on impulse.
Sure.
I decide to. I owned Cold Stone Creameries before. I bought the rights to franchise in South Florida on impulse, just on feeling.
Wow.
That's how I.
You always ask your gut? How do you make these decisions?
I do gut.
You don't bring any science in at all?
I do science too. As we get more experience, we bring science into it. We have a lot of data from over the years, so now we're able to make decisions on that. But at the end of the day, there's always gut involved.
There certainly is. And so how do you make that transition to pickleball?
God, I moved up to Boca Raton. Everybody plays. I was going to start picking up tennis again. I used to play tennis when I was in high school and college, and I figured, it's been years. I love tennis. I want to get back into shape, and let's do that. And then I saw pickleball, and so I made a left turn instead of going straight, and now I play that. And it's addictive.
It is.
It's community. It's around community, so you make a lot of friends there, and that becomes part of your life. When you're an entrepreneur, you don't have a lot of time. You're traveling a lot. You're hiring. You're meeting with customers. There's not a lot of downtime. And when there is, you like to go away, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Great thing about pickleball, you just show up, Stephen, with the paddle, and you just put it up on the fence, and you can start playing, right?
Yeah.
Tennis, you got to do an advance and get some double partners, and they got to be around the same level. But pickleball is a nice community thing where it just kind of continually rotates.
Yeah,
shorter games.
And it is shorter, and it's 2-on-2.
It's still doubles.
It's mostly doubles.
Yeah.
And tennis and pickleball, it's like skiing and snowboarding.
Interesting.
Like skiing, you could pick up, you could get on, start moving. And you could be okay for a long time. If you want to become expert, it's going to take years of practice. That's like pickleball, right? You can get on a court and play. You want to become expert, little by little. Tennis is like snowboarding. You start play tennis for the first day, you're not having a good day.
Right.
Snowboarding, you're on your butt most of the time, right? But after you get going, it's easier.
Tell me about Stephen before the age of 18. What were you like? What were your passions as in your formidable years?
My God, I was not a good student. I probably had ADHD, like undiagnosed, and so I just get yelled at for not getting good grades. So I was pretty rebellious because of that.
So the subjects in school you didn't care for. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
There were some that you may have liked and others you didn't.
When it came to school,
no subjects interested you.
No.
Not even gym.
No. Gym was no one liked gym back then. You know, it's
girls.
Girls, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Girls. Yeah.
Okay. So there was some interest.
Yeah.
Just not in any subjects. Fascinating.
No, we had a great group of friends. We'd cause trouble and
Where is this?
Long Island, New York.
Where in Long Island?
Melville, right in the middle.
This is in the 80s?
This is, I was the class of 1988. Yeah. Had a lot
86.
of fun. Oh, you're 86? You in Long Island?
New Haven, right across the Sound.
Okay, very good.
I have cousins in Long Island. I was there all the time.
Okay, yeah. Long Island's a good place. It has a place.
Yes.
Has a place in my heart, you know. And all the good kids that were troublemakers, they ended up doing okay. But they didn't take there wasn't a straight line, right? Their journey, just like mine, was loopy, right? So I was interested in lots of things. I just become interested and then become uninterested. Become interested and then become uninterested. You go into college and you want to do psychology, and then you want to move over to finance, and then marketing, and then you don't know what you want to do, but you want to know everything. Right?
But even so teenage years, during high school, not even sports, there was nothing that kind of, were you a Yankee fan back then?
Oh, I love the Yankees, love the Islanders.
The Islanders, okay,
you know?
So you go to Nassau, you go to the Bronx to see the games.
Yeah.
Okay, so there was
we used to sneak into the U.S. Open. We used to go under the fence into the U.S. Open.
Yeah.
Watch the tennis matches. I played soccer. I played tennis.
Okay. So you had lots of passion.
No, yeah, I loved. I played guitar a bit, but I went from one thing to the other. I was never really focused on just one thing, right? And sometimes I wish I was, right? Sometimes I wish I knew what I wanted to do from the very beginning. It probably would have made life a lot easier.
Do you know
right?
now?
I still don't know.
Yeah,
I still don't know.
Say.
Yeah, still having fun figuring
because
it out.
Doing Cold Stone. So when did the tech bug bite? Did it ever bite you?
No, the tech bug absolutely it bit me. I went from I worked for my dad in textiles for many years after college. He sold it. I didn't like the new owner. They wanted to keep me on. I decided to move away from that, and I wanted to do a new adventure. I went down to Santiago, Chile, to start teaching English.
How does this happen, Stephen? How do you go to Santiago, Chile? You saw a flyer?
No, I was taking Spanish classes in New York City. For some reason, I wanted to learn how to speak Spanish, and my teacher was Chilean.
Say.
She's like, you should check out Chile. And I said, I'm going to move down there for a little while, really learn Spanish.
Wow.
And so I went down there for 6 months. I ended up staying there for 2 years.
Wow.
I went down there working for a firm teaching English. I ended up starting my own business, consulting businesses on English presentations. I ended up getting like Citibank and other companies down in Santiago. I made some money and then traveled. Made some money, traveled some more.
This is in your 20s.
What? No. This was it was in my 20s, but my late 20s. Because I spent a bunch of years working in the textiles. We had an office in the Empire State Building. Really cool. And all my friends were really focused on their careers, and once my dad sold his business, I felt like I wanted to take a reset. I felt like everybody was all career, 100% of the time, and I felt like you get that feeling. Even in your 20s, you're like, I feel like I'm missing out. I don't want to miss this before it's too late. And now I'm old. I know it's never too late.
You're not.
But a lot older than my late 20s. And so I'm like, I just want to do some traveling. I never got to do that. I went right into college. Let's live a little bit. And that's why I moved down to Chile.
So you went to Chile, you got some money, and then you did some more traveling. Would you go to Europe?
Yeah. Oh no, I stayed in South America. We went to Peru. We went to Ecuador. The only place I didn't go that I wanted to go was Brazil.
The largest country down there.
Yeah, right. And turns out that when I moved back to the States and then I moved to California, we could get to that. I met my wife, who's Brazilian. So now I go to Brazil quite a bit.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Did you ever have an MSP?
I never had an MSP. I mean, when we started in this business, I was trying to solve a problem in my Cold Stone Creamery stores, right? So we built our software, and an MSP signed up. Kevin Studley from the Network Pro. He's sold. He's out of the business already, but he saw the value in it, and I called him up. I asked him what's an MSP, and he was part of the True Methods group with Gary Pica.
Yeah.
So he introduced me to Gary. Gary let me come to pitch, 40 of the guys in True Methods. This is before True Peer. These are the OGs.
Right.
We ended up signing up a couple of dozen. The only thing he said is that I'd have to take them out to drinks afterwards, and I'm like, fine. I didn't know how much these guys like to drink, man. That was a big bill. But that's how I got started in the MSP industry, and we haven't looked back since.
Wow.
Yeah.
We're here at MSP GeekCon, Stephen. It's a great event. First time I've ever been to one of these. It's really, really different. It's kind of MSP driven and MSP led. It's really, really refreshing. It's a very different change. What are some of your goals this week here?
The goal is always to get out in front of MSPs, talk to them about what they're doing, to see if we can help them. At the end of the day, we end up coming out with demos scheduled from a bunch of MSPs. These channel events are the best way for us to showcase our value, and we love these. We love events like these because most of them. This is our first time here, but for the most part, we'll go to an event and we'll have a lot of customers there, and our customers will bring other MSPs over, and that really helps us move the needle on what we're doing.
So how does CrewHu help MSPs?
Yeah, CrewHu helps MSPs. We're a customer excellence platform, and we help collect lots of feedback, right? And so you know what your customers are saying, but more importantly, you know what the customers aren't saying. You identify the silent customers. You identify the red flags, because for the most part, MSPs, they'll talk about CSAT a lot, for example, and most of them will say, "Oh, I have 100% CSAT." But when you look down deeper into it, there's a lot of their customers that aren't giving them answers at all, right? Or they're not saying something that showcases exactly what they're not telling them, and that what's happening. And for the most part, MSPs have a PSA. They have Halo or ConnectWise Manage or Autotask, and they have their SLAs, and they have the response time and the resolution time, and these are numbers, but these numbers don't mean anything if their customer perception is different. Customer perception is truth, and you need to understand what your customer perception is, and from there, you also need to connect it with your employees, your staff, and so I think the biggest takeaway for MSPs is, you need to recognize your employees. You need to celebrate the small wins daily, and that will create a system that is consistent service delivery that you could then talk to the market, shout out at the market about, become visible. the only way MSPs really stand out, it's not by their tech stack. The tech stacks are pretty much the same. It's by their service, but they need to make it provable. And we help them do that as well with our workflows to get them more Google reviews, with our workflows to get them responses on those reviews, with workflows to get their happy customers that having given them online reviews, some more reviews. So we help them multiply the number of reviews they have, increase their visibility, showcase their service, make it provable.
What if discipline wasn't about punishment, but about unlocking your best self? I spent 2.5 years writing Discipline for Greatness because discipline changed my life. And I know it can change yours too. This isn't theory. Inside, you'll find real, practical steps you can use immediately to focus better, build stronger habits, reduce stress, accomplish your goals, and bring more balance to your life. Whether you're trying to get healthier, improve your career, or simply feel more control, this book gives you the framework. Start today. Grab your copy of Discipline for Greatness at joeypinz.com/book. Thank you.
And you said you first started it at the ice cream place.
Yeah.
But that's B2C. That's a very different dynamic. How are you adapting it then and moved it over to B2B?
Well, first of all, it's all about talking to your customers. It's all about the voice of the customer. Are you getting a good amount of feedback back from your customers? We were getting one piece of feedback per store per month, and it was always bad because it was really hard to give feedback, right? And if they were going to give feedback, they needed to be really emotionally charged. And usually that emotion is negative. So we get one piece of negative feedback. We connected it to the loyalty program. And what we did is we triggered an email that would go out 5 minutes after each transaction. We went from one piece of feedback per store to 100, 96 of which were positive.
Wow.
So now we have 96 opportunities to say thank you to the guys in the front line, right? And there's a lot of similarities between retail and MSP because you have your employees at the front line in retail, you have your help desk in the MSP space, and all they're getting is hammered all day long. They're calling not because they're happy, they're calling because they have a problem, right? They have an inconvenience. And so you have to really like what you do. And these guys work really, really hard every day. And we want to give them an easy way to say thank you to their team. We want to give them an easy way to celebrate the small wins daily in the MSP space.
You know, I'm a former MSP. I talk to MSPs all the time. What keeps them up at night has been pretty consistent the last 7-8 years. Number one, cybersecurity. They're worried about their clients getting attacked. If they get attacked, they got to allocate resources. They're going to lose money. They're probably going to get fired. They may even get sued. 2, human capital. How are they going to keep their people happy? How are they going to get more? Their employees. And 3 is just growth. PE has poured in hundreds of millions of dollars, Stephen, and their friends are selling their MSPs. How am I going to grow this thing organically? How do you help in those areas?
Cybersecurity, I got to say, we can't help there. But keeping the right people. We know how hard it is to recruit and get the right people into the MSP. And for the most part, it's so hard that MSPs keep average employees, right? And that's why they have average service. That's why the vast majority of MSPs they deliver average service. And that's why they have a lot of challenges with price, with how much they want to charge this much, but they're always getting price pressure to charge less. If they could showcase their value to their prospective clients, they'll be able to compete on value in that price. And this is how we could help them, by the way, grow, create visibility in the market, help them stand out, and help them prove their value so they don't have to compete on price. On the employee side, if you have a culture of recognition, if you have a culture of celebrating the wins daily, they're going to have a much easier time retaining people and also getting those great people, those A players, to get their friends to work there or people they know work there. A players hang out with A players.
Let's go back like 10 years, Stephen. We go back about 10 years. Is there something firmly you believed then that you no longer believe now?
That I believe then. I believe that we were going to just crush it right from the beginning and grow really, really fast. Right. I found humility over the years and understood how important it was that I needed to prove our value, right? And listen to the customer and listen to the MSPs out there. I had this one view, this is the way you do it, and this is the way you should do it. It worked for my ice cream stores. It helped us become the highest grossing franchise group in the country.
Wow.
And I thought I could just take that and say, this is how you do it, go do it. And what I found over the years, owning a software company, is that I need to really listen to what they want, right? So I could help them solve their problems. We've been in the MSP space since 2016.
Wow.
Right? We have helped, over 1,000 MSPs scale their service and become more visible in the market. And over that time, I've learned a lot from them.
I see it over and over again, Stephen, especially telco. I see these companies come over from telco and try to come to MSP and try to use that same blueprint, and it doesn't work.
Yeah,
it doesn't
and print too, right?
Yeah,
they
print
manage
as well,
print.
print
They
and
come.
copy. Yeah, yeah. Is there a question you wish more people asked you?
That's interesting. I like human conversations. I don't love small talk. I like people asking about, your passions. I liked how we started this conversation, right? I'm not a big small talk guy, but this isn't small talk. This is you're saying, hey, what were you passionate about when you were a kid?
Paints a picture.
What drove you? And those kind of conversations, I miss that a lot. Not a lot of people do that.
So a common question you wish more would ask you is about your passions.
Yeah. Or have that conversation back and forth, of course, right? Right. Have stronger connections.
Yeah.
I think life is about connections.
It really is.
Yeah.
It really is. So I guess I'm 2 years older than you. So you were born in 70?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm 68. Yeah. So I think at our age, we really are more curious and like the deeper connection, I think.
Yeah, we need that.
Yeah, we do.
We realize how important that is. It's not about survival anymore. It's about finding that joy in life.
So I started the MSP in '93. We were both in our 20s. I'm right across the sound from you. Actually, were you in Santiago at this point? No, you're probably still in school. You were in college, probably.
I just got out. I was in New York City.
You're in New York City.
Yeah.
Working way too hard, 14, 16-hour days. You know this, Stephen.
Yeah.
You're no stranger to this. And putting my I'm not playing tennis anymore. I'm not playing soccer. I'm just working. Next thing I know, I'm in front of the doctor. She tells me I'm at 340 pounds. So I gained all this weight. I knew I was getting big, but I didn't think I was that big.
Yeah.
She says to me, if you don't lose this weight, you're not going to see your daughter graduate. My daughter was just born. Scared the life out of me. Driving home, punching the steering, it's my pie hole, right? I did this to myself. I can abuse myself all I want, but it's much, much bigger than me, right? I have to make decisions that reflect more than myself at this point. Spent the next 6-7 months, lost about 120 pounds. And I kept it off, right? You look at these things as a finishing line, right? These are lifelong changes.
Yeah.
So when I tell people this story, they always say, what's your secret? What'd you do? I say, there's no secret. Discipline, right? Routine, focus, motivation. Yeah. How does discipline play a role in your life, Stephen Spiegel?
Discipline is so important. I'm looking at your book there.
Yeah.
So I know when I have discipline, it works. And I learned something that Jim Lippy actually said this at the beginning of the year. Do the right things every day. Pick those 3 to 5 things that you're going to work on the day before, and then do it, right? And focus just on that, right? Those are your guardrails, and that works for me. I think meditation is really
Do you meditate?
Really important. I do, and I mean to do it every day,
Yeah.
and my discipline has fallen off on that. But I think it's when I'm doing it on a daily basis,
It helps.
I feel so much lighter.
Yeah, me too.
The overwhelm melts off you. Everybody gets overwhelmed, but it's in our mind. It's less out there. It could be out there, but it's less out there than in your head, right? And so I find that helps a lot. I'm actually right now doing a cleanse. I do this once a year. It's a 21-day cleanse.
Oh my goodness!
And where you're eating clean, totally clean. And there's some supplements involved, but I got to tell you, I'm feeling the weight come on.
Right.
I'm heavier than I've ever been in my life, and I'm usually pretty active.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to discipline myself with health. I discipline myself with exercise. Try to play pickleball. Try to get to the gym. But it's all about consistency, right? And there's times where I'm really consistent.
Yeah.
And there's times when I'm
Like
not.
us all, yeah.
But it's not about killing yourself about not being consistent. It's about just observing it and saying, okay, forgive yourself. Okay. And then go do it.
That's right.
Right.
Is there something in the last month or so you changed your mind on?
I've gone back and forth on leadership in my company. Do I bring on somebody that's done it before, knows how to do it, and then I go to let's someone grow into it, and I've been on both sides of that, and right now I'm all about let's partner with someone that, and I've done this before, but let's partner with someone that knows what they're doing. They've gotten to a place before, and it really helps the company grow.
Build versus buy.
Build, yeah. Build when you can.
Yeah.
Build when you can, but if that's not working, buying is always, I think, the best option if you're looking at speed. If you want speed, if you want fast growth, if you want to learn it.
You mentioned how you shouldn't, beat yourself up. Try to stay consistent.
Yeah.
What do you do with the haters? What do you do when you get something negative falls upon you by, I don't know, a client, post-client, employee? How do you deal with that?
Yeah. There's this journal, this Stoic journal, that you read lessons from and then you write in, and that always helps ultimately. At the time I've always learned. Not always. So I did this process called the Hoffman process, and really, really great organization, the HoffmanProcess.org. And it helps you understand your triggers. And then it helps you understand how to reprocess the triggers. So when I'm a really outgoing, emotional guy. I wear my heart on my sleeves. That bothers me, right? But I know that bothers me.
It bothers you about yourself.
No. It bothers me if there's haters out there.
I see.
Right?
I see.
And so my first reaction is, ow, that really hurt, and it turns into disappointment. It could turn into anger, but then you have to reprocess that. You have to be like, that you have to think about that. How can you show up differently in that moment? Everybody has a story, right? The people that you call haters, they have a story. Everybody might have, they have a wrong story of me, for example, and or maybe they're having a bad day or something. But the only thing I could really control is how I react.
That's right.
And so I'd rather they say it's better to respond than react, and the only difference is
Respond versus react.
then reaction and response is that you put some thought into how you're going to interact in the situation before you actually do it. So.
Want to show your love for discipline, inspiration, and the Joey Pinz podcast? Now's your chance. Introducing the brand new Joey Pinz merch store, where style meets discipline. Choose from premium apparel, cozy hoodies, stylish hats, durable bags, and your new favorite coffee mug, all featuring the iconic Joey Pinz logo. Perfect for podcast fans, discipline enthusiasts, or as unique gifts for friends and family. Every purchase supports the Joey Pinz Discipline Conversations podcast, helping us continue to inspire greatness and promote positive change. Visit joeypins.com/store today and wear your discipline proudly. Joey Pinz merch. Wear it, share it, and live it.
I'm reminded, somebody told me not too long ago about, so the eagle flies, of course. The crow is the only bird that'll attack an eagle in flight. And so when it gets on its back and starts pecking at it, the eagle does not try to shake it off. It just continues to increase altitude because it knows at a certain altitude the crow can't handle it. So when it gets there, the crow just kind of falls off.
Right.
So when I think of haters, I think of the eagle. And I think of the crow. Just kind of continue to rise and ignore it, and it'll fall off.
Yeah, I heard that story.
You have,
I've heard that story.
I didn't make it up. I don't know where I got it from.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
I like that. That's good advice.
What motivates you?
Creation. Getting people together. When I see that I have this team that's super engaged, I'm really happy. When I see that my customers love what we do, I'm really happy. When I'm showing something new that we're working on and they're like, "Oh, this is great," that makes me happy. At the end of the day, and I think this is true for many people. If you could help people, if you could bring value that into the world, it gives you purpose. And if you have purpose, you're going to be happier. If you could look back and say, I did that. I brought these people together. I created this company, right? We sold this many people this month, right? We helped this many people this month, right? We have a new case study that proves how well our product is helping MSPs. That sort of thing.
I didn't hear the word impact, but I felt that's really what you're saying.
Yeah.
So how, given that your motivation is impact, Stephen, how do you measure success?
I measure success by how happy my team is. I measure success by speaking to my customers. I'm in the market. I have a team that handles the shows, but I'm really in the market to talk to my customers to see how we're impacting them. Right. I'm also competitive, so I know that when I'm on the pickleball court, I was just in my EO retreat. EO is an entrepreneurial
organization,
group, and we get out there. We hired a coach. We got this big house, and we're talking about purpose, passion, and at the end of it, he tells me, Stephen, you just have to live your life like you're on the pickleball court. Because when you're on the pickleball court, you're confident, you know what you're doing, you got the eye of the tiger, you want to win. And so, yeah, I mean, I took that to heart. And so I want to, that's my theme for this year, live my life like I'm on the pickleball court. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate your time today. Anybody watching, listening, how can they get in touch with you?
You could go to CrewHu.com to check out what we do. You could reach out to me on LinkedIn, Stephen Spiegel, Stephen with a PH, Spiegel. Link up with me, and we could get together. We could talk. Those are probably the two best ways to get with me. I get back on LinkedIn pretty quick.
Very good. Thank you so much for your time, Steve. I've known you for a long time, and I'm glad we finally, it's been years, and I'm glad we finally got to be able to talk like this. I really appreciate it.
Hey, thank you. All right.
Thank you for listening and or viewing Joey Pinz Discipline Conversations. Please share this episode with one or two of your friends who you think may benefit from the episode. Our website, www.joeypinz.com. There you'll find lots of resources and you could join our mailing list. Please follow us on all our social media, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Podcast information, the video version of our podcast is on YouTube. Please subscribe. Audio is on all major podcasting platforms. Please follow them. And if you like it, please consider giving 5-star rating. Would really appreciate that. Thank you again for listening or watching Joey Pinz Discipline Conversations.